guys, my name's Brooke. I've been in speech and debate for the past 4 years, and I'm here today to share with you my knowledge and experience in the field of communication, in the hopes that you too will be able to increase your own knowledge and skills in the same field of effective communication and presentation. Today, we are going to be covering the basic process of writing an effective speech. The information for this video is coming from a range of sources, including the super helpful All Things Oratory book published by the National Speech and Debate Association, my coach, and of course my own experience. Now, the road to writing an incredible speech can be a long, confusing road. Thankfully, I've narrowed down this crazy process into 10 easy to follow steps. Step 1. Pick a topic. There are lots of things to consider when picking a topic for your oratory, or speech of any kind. The first thing to consider is occasion. This, for speech and debate, is easy. Occasion is going to be competition. But for a speech in general, occasion can range anywhere from a funeral to a graduation ceremony. Just make sure that your speech fits the anticipated setting. The second thing to consider is purpose. Purpose is basically what you want to accomplish through your speech. Again, for speech and debate, it's pretty clear. You want to persuade. But your purpose can be anywhere from to inform, to entertain, to celebrate, and again, for most speeches and for us, to persuade. Finally, there are some things to remember when picking a topic. Great topics are generally interesting and widely appealing. They usually relate to current events and are relevant. Great topics relate to the speaker. In other words, pick something that you're passionate about. One last thing to remember. Great topics are full of energy, and they have a message that an audience can take with them. Step 2. Brainstorm. During this step, just make sure to keep a piece of paper and a pencil handy. Chances are you already have some ideas floating around in your head about this idea. Maybe you know some books or websites that would have some good information. You might even have some statistics or random quotes memorized. Who knows? If you want to talk about it, chances are you have some ideas about it. Just make sure to get those ideas down on paper. Step 3. Organize. Take those ideas and facts and sort them into one clear thesis statement and 3 supporting arguments. I like to do this in almost a diagram form. I get a sheet of paper and at the top I have my thesis statement. Underneath are my 3 supporting arguments. And beneath each of those are 3 bullet points that I'll fill in later with information and facts. Which brings us to step 4. Research. I cannot stress this step enough. Research anything and everything you can about your topic. I'm a person that tends to lean more toward anecdotal evidence, basically personal and emotional stories to get my point across, and that can be very effective. But a great speech has a lot of facts, statistics, and research from credible sources. Step 5. Rough draft. First drafts are always the hardest. All I can say, just write it. It's easier said than done, and I know that it can be crazy difficult when what you're writing is nowhere near what you have in mind for your speech in the future. But you can't make an incredible something out of a big nothing. So, write something. Step 6. Peer and coach edit. I highly recommend having one of your friends or peers read over your speech or presentation before handing it over to a coach, teacher, or trusted advisor. Not only will your friends be more sparing of your feelings if it isn't quite up to par, but they also understand you and will be able to help you formulate your ideas into something presentable. After they're done, hand it over to that teacher, advisor, or coach. I highly recommend making the time for some one-on-one time with your coach. Some of my best work came in hours talking about my ideas, rather than writing them. Step 7. Block it. In the speech and debate community, blocking is basically a fancy word for decided actions or movements that emphasize what you're speaking about. We will get into blocking in a later video. Step 8. Competition. For speech and debaters, this is an obvious step. Just participate in your weekly meets. For others preparing a speech of any kind, make sure to practice in front of an audience. It might be helpful to hand out copies of your speech or presentation to your audience so that as they watch, they're able to take notes that go right in hand with what you're talking about at the time. I would highly recommend making sure that one of your audience members is that coach, teacher, or trusted advisor. Step 9, critique. Read over and apply the critique that you received from those people that watched your performance. For speech and debaters, you'll receive this critique on the back of your judge ballots that you get at the end of a meet. Apply the critique that you found helpful, and make sure that you're able to decide what is good for you and what is not. Step 10, rewrite and refine. This is going to be one of the most repeated steps in the entire process. Once you have that critique and that practice, apply what you've learned from those rehearsals. Maybe you didn't like a part that didn't seem to flow well during your presentation. Take it out. Maybe you thought of a cool new idea as you were going along. Put it in. Whatever the case, just don't be discouraged. This process is going to happen multiple times. Just know that at the end of it all, if you repeat this process and keep working through, you'll have a Nobel Prize winning speech. Thanks for watching, you guys. See ya.